Good morning, and thank you for joining us for this online worship service of the First Unitarian Church of Alton on this Mother's Day, May 10, 2020. The theme for each service during May is integrity. This is an online-only service as we do our part to help counteract the spread of COVID-19. You are welcome here, no matter who you are. No matter where you come from, no matter where you live, no matter what your background. You are welcome to join us as we proclaim worth in our spiritual journeys. You are welcome to join us as we sing songs that uplift our very beings. You are welcome to join us in community as we learn, live, and love together. All are welcome as we worship that which gives each of us meaning and value. We are Unitarian Universalists. I'm Mary Johnson, and our speaker today is Jerry Johnson. We begin our worship with a prelude by our accompanist, Joy Heft. Our chalice lighting words were written by Claudine Oliva. If you have a candle or chalice, please light it now as I light our chalice here, and join in saying the chalice lighting words shown on the screen. We light this chalice for mothers and mothering, to celebrate those who have taken on the task of nurturing a young one, baby, child, or youth, into adulthood. To celebrate those who have nourished the light of truth and compassion in growing minds and hearts. To celebrate those who have committed time, money, and energy to the growth of others in this world. We light this chalice to celebrate and hold dear this flame of love.
Opening words. We gather this morning as stewards of a powerful tradition, rooted in the truth, reaching for justice, and fueled by compassion. We gather this morning as heirs to the riches bequeathed us by brave and wise ancestors whose dream we now are. We gather this morning as the ancestors of all who will come after, who even now are hoping against hope for our bravery, our courage, our integrity, and our faith. In this moment, at this hour, through this session, let us be the stewards and heirs and ancestors whose generations have called us to be. After Joy plays it through, Please join in singing the first verse of our opening hymn, Once to Every Soul and Nation, hymn number 119 in the gray hymnal and on your screen.
Our first reading is from the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. Watch your thoughts. They become your words. Watch your words. They become your actions. Watch your actions. They become your habits. Watch your habits. They become your character. Watch your character. It becomes your destiny. And our second reading is from Socrates. Regard your good name as the richest jewel you can possibly be possessed of, for credit is like fire. When once you have kindled it, you may easily preserve it. But if you once extinguish it, you will find it an arduous task to rekindle it again. The way to a good reputation is to endeavor to be what you desire to appear. After Joy plays it through, please join in singing the first verse of our second hymn, Oh Give Us Pleasure for the Flowers Today, hymn number 64 in the gray hymnal and on your screen. The information I'm going to share about the history of the Flower Communion is adapted from a larger piece written by Reginald Zottoli. The Flower Communion service was created by Norbert Čapek, who lived from 1870 to 1942. He founded the Unitarian Church in Prague, Czechoslovakia. He introduced this special service to that church on June 4th, 1923. For some time, he had felt the need for some symbolic ritual that would bind people more closely together. The format had to be one that would not alienate anyone who had forsaken other religious traditions. So he turned to the native beauty of their countryside for elements of a communion which would be genuine to them. That simple service was the result. It was such a success that it was held yearly just before the summer recess of Dr. Čapek's Unitarian Church in Prague. The Flower Communion was introduced to Unitarian churches in the United States in 1940 by Dr. Chapek's wife Maya. From this beginning, the service has spread to many of our Unitarian Universalist congregations and has been adapted along the way. Whenever Dr. Chapek conducted his flower communion in Prague, he would say this prayer as he consecrated the flowers. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us, amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts, to be one in desire and affection, and devotion to thy holy will. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of thy most precious gifts. May we not let awareness of another's talent discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world. Since we are congregating virtually today, we have asked members of the congregation to send in photos of flowers to share. These flowers will now be displayed.
Our meditation. Let us center down in this holy moment, turning inward to listen, turning inward to heal, turning inward to draw from that deep well within, where our stories are waiting, where our wisdom waits too. Let those resources nourish us, guide us, show us the next right choice to make, the next right word to say, the next way in which we can be vessels of holy love as we draw from all of what we've found within. We turn back to the waiting world, patiently hoping we will be in the days to come all that we have been up to now preparing ourselves to be. Amen. Our message for today is titled Living a Life of Integrity by Lynn Unger, Minister of Lifespan Learning, Church of the Larger Fellowship. What does it look like to live a life of integrity? It seems to me that this question is at the heart of Unitarian Universalism. We don't have a creed, a set of beliefs that everyone must agree to, but we are also not just a convenient social club that offers a low-cost, low-risk way to get together. We are a religious body, and our faith calls us to engage with what is highest and deepest and most meaningful. William Ellery Channing had the audacity to claim that the point of our religion, of our living, is to cultivate likeness to God. That is a pretty tall order, to try to make yourself as much like God, however you imagine God to be, as possible. But I think it comes down to a matter of integrity. Integrity means wholeness. You can see the meaning in the word integer, a whole number. If God is somehow the whole of everything that is larger than the sum of the parts, cultivating likeness to God means learning to find our wholeness, our deep connectedness. When we live with integrity, our insides match our outsides. I have a term for people whose integrity shines through. I call them solid chocolate rabbits. If you think about the chocolate bunnies you get at Easter, there are two main kinds. There are hollow chocolate rabbits that are generally big and showy and impressive, but they are just a chocolate shell and nothing inside. And frankly, the chocolate usually isn't that great. But a solid chocolate rabbit, where it might be less impressive to look at, is chocolate all the way through. What you see is what you get. The insides match the outsides. To be fair, one could have a solid chocolate bunny that was made of nasty, waxy, tasteless chocolate. It could happen. There are people in the world who are self-centered and greedy through and through, and I suppose that is a type of integrity. But you know, that's mostly not my experience. Mostly the solid chocolate bunnies are tasty front to back and ears to tail. And most of the people I've met who have that quality of integrity give me the sense of likeness to God, of demonstrated love and compassion and curiosity. I think it happens because the way to become a solid chocolate rabbit, to become a person of integrity, is to have principles. Principles are guides, measures that we judge our choices by. When we hold to our principles, then we choose our actions based on what we feel is true and good and right, rather than what society expects of us and what happens to be the most convenient at the moment. A friend tags the bottom of all her emails with, "Be kinder than necessary." That's a principle you can live by. When I asked friends what principles they lived by, some of the responses I got were, "Make each day count. Life is not a dress rehearsal. You only get to keep what you give away. Be mindful in carrying what you do today, for tomorrow it will be embedded in history. Love people for who they are, not for who you wish they would be. Be curious. The only way to fail is to never try. Use your powers for good." A few years ago, I wrote a poem that I never intended to become a personal statement of principles, but it did. The poem entitled Choice ends with the words, "Watch where you are going. Lean in toward what you love. When in doubt, tell the truth." I don't know if living by these principles makes me good or the best person I could be by someone else's standards, but when I exercise curiosity and love and honesty, then I feel the most me, the most solid in my sense of self. Living by principles allows us to live with integrity, and of course, what Unitarian Universalism has to offer in the place of a creed is principles. Honor the worth and dignity of every person. Pursue justice, equity, and compassion. Meet people where they are and create spaces for growth. Actively search for truth and meaning. Hold to the teachings of your conscience. Remember that in spite of all the borders, we are one world, and remember that the one world we belong to is so much more than the human part of the picture. These are the principles that we, through our congregations, commit to affirm and promote, not just thinking or believing, because integrity doesn't come from what we think or from what we say that other people need to do. It comes from choosing, day after day and hour after hour, to make our actions line up with our ideals. It is a harsh fact of life that in these times that we see all too many public figures behaving with a lack of integrity that is nothing less than stunning, dropping principles like democracy and honesty for the sake of power or avoiding risk. But living in the wash of lies that surrounds us these days makes it all the more important that we find grounding in our own principles and in our own ongoing commitment to shape our lives in the image of what is holy and true and good.
We offer the gentle reminder that this community of faith is supported only by your giving. We need each other, and in times of trial, we need each other even more. You can mail your gift to the church at Post Office Box 494, Alton, Illinois 62002, or give electronically by searching for First Unitarian Church of Alton on the Givelify app. Give what you will, for you are a generous people. Please join with me in our offering prayer. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice.
After Joy plays it through, please join in singing the first verse of our closing hymn, For All That Is Our Life, hymn number 128 in the gray hymnal and on your screen. Our announcements. Men's Lunch Group will meet by Zoom at 11:30 a.m. next Thursday, May 14th. Thanks to Ken Heft for making this portable pulpit, and thanks to Alex Heft for his work in putting together this video. Please join me in our unison words for extinguishing the chalice. The light of truth and meaning cannot be put out. We are keepers of this flame until we meet again. Our closing words. As you depart from this place, carry with you the power of this time and the promises you have inwardly made about how you will live and why that will matter. Go in peace.